Why am I not seeing all of you? Hi, guys. Sorry. I'm not seeing you guys. Hold on, I gotta figure out why I'm not seeing you guys. Where is everybody? Oh, you know what? Maybe I don't see you guys. Maybe I just think I see you guys. Anyway, welcome. Let me see where the chat is. Yay, yay, yay. Hi, Krista. Hi, Chrissy. Hi, Master. Hi, Alexis. So, guys, I actually thought I would see you like my regular Zoom call, but I guess I'm not seeing you, which kind of bums me out. I should have done this a different way. Oh, well, let me see. I have to play with this a little bit, but I guess I'm not seeing you. I should have just done a Zoom call. I thought that's what this was. Anyway, sorry, guys. Let me see if there's anything else I can do here. Oh, I'm on Facebook. Goodbye. Okay. My volume is low. It is. Can you hear me now? Can you turn up your volume? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Give me a yes if you can hear me. Yes, yes. Oh, yes, you can hear me. Good, good, good. Okay, guys. So, oh, good. Everybody can hear me. So turn up your volume. And I'm sorry I'm not seeing you. I guess this is a little different than a regular Zoom call, which I actually thought it was. So I was kind of excited to see all you guys. Oh, well, too late. So maybe we'll do this a little differently. Anyway, it is what it is, right? And can you guys all see me? You can see and hear me? I hope so. Give me a yes that you can see me too. All right. So I hope you guys have something to drink, you know, some water, some tea, a glass of wine. You can see me. Good, Chrissy. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, guys. So you can put stuff in the comments. We're going to talk about a bunch of stuff. I'm going to kind of go over what we've done and accomplished so far. And we're going to, you know, talk about a little bit about what I experienced growing up. Oh my gosh, Mastery. Thank you. You're so sweet. And what I've dealt with my kids a little bit. So you kind of know where I'm coming from. I know I briefly touched on that, but I didn't really go through a lot of what I went through and how I felt. And then I'm going to give you some overall tips, and we'll hear some testimonials from people as well. Now, let me see something else, because allow attendees to chat with all panelists. Okay. All right. Well, you know what? I'm so good at Zoom, but I guess I'm not so good at this webinar thing, because I really thought it was the same as Zoom. So I'm a little disappointed. But anyway, it is what it is. And we're already set up and we're already getting started. I ain't going to make you waste some time. And people that come on, we've got some, I don't know, 40 people that signed up. So they'll just have to come on as we go. I'm not going to punish you guys who got here on time with all of this. So anyway, so let me just tell you guys who I am. Well, you know who I am. You know I'm Celia. And a little bit about me. And I'm going to record this. I've decided I'm going to replay it tomorrow night, so that the people that were not, I had some people message me and say they were busy, they weren't able to get on tonight. So I'm going to give them a chance to get on with me, you know, to get on and watch it, not live, tomorrow night. So we're going to do that. I'm Celia. I'm a family empowerment coach. So simply put, what I do is I empower parents through tips and techniques and strategies so that you guys can turn around and empower your kids. I am on a mission to stop 1 million parents from yelling at their kids and really create childhoods that all of you can blossom from. You know, we all need to have a happy childhood. So that's my mission. That's why I do these challenges, so that I can reach as many people as possible so that they too can stop yelling at their kids. Hi, Mackenzie. Okay, so replay viewers, because now we will have some replay viewers. I thank you also for hopping on. Please know that you can make comments, tag me in your comments, and I will respond to you. Also, you know, if you're on the replay, give me like a hashtag after party in the comments so I know that you're doing this. Okay. Let me tell you a little bit more about my story. Now, I believe I told you all that I grew up with a father who tends to lose his temper easily. He's military. I know a lot of you have military parents who told me, and he would yell, he would lose his patience, he would call my mom names, and you know, he would yell at us kids, yell at her. There'd be a lot of yelling. He was physically and mentally abused growing up. He swore he would never physically abuse us, and as he promised, he never did, thank goodness. But there was still a lot of yelling and mental abuse. And I don't know about you guys, but I honestly consider yelling mental abuse. And if you agree with me, would you say I agree in the comments? I have to realize that we can't do emojis. Maybe we can do emojis, I don't know. If you give emoji, give it a thumbs up. I'm so technologically advanced. But if you agree that yelling is mental abuse, let me know, because I really feel like it is, because it is so destructive to children. Like you guys said in a lot of your comments about how you felt, I too felt like I could do nothing right. It didn't matter what I did, I could do nothing right. So, you know, I felt I felt dumb. I grew up with a family of geniuses, and I always felt like I was the dumb one. You know, I felt like I could not accomplish anything. I felt very mediocre. There was nothing special about me. Oh, and Cheyenne does too. Oh, Mastery. Oh, that's you, Nick. Yes. So, you know, when you yell at your kids, you're destroying their mindset. You're destroying their confidence. You're destroying their self-esteem, their self-worth, and that is detrimental to the rest of their life. So in all this, growing up, you know, I told you guys I wore a brace. I was kind of like a handicapped kid. I had a whole body brace on. And then I entered into my first marriage when I was 21 years old. And in that marriage, I gave birth to my 2 children when I was 24 and 30. My daughter was born when I was 24. My son was born when I was 30 years old. And my husband, my first husband, drank a lot of beer. He was not an angry drunk. He was just kind of a fun drunk, but he drank all the time, and I never drank. I've just never, I don't like the feeling of being drunk, so I don't drink. I never have drank. Drank. Is drink a word? I'm not so sure drink's a word. Anyway, so I felt very kind of out of place in this marriage. And I felt very controlled by him. I mean, when he would come home from work, I would go into this crazy clean up the house mode. I don't know if any of you feel this way when your spouse comes home or your partner comes home. You feel like, oh my gosh, I have to get things in place for him. I was like that every night, and my friends would notice that. And finally, after 15 years of marriage, I decided to go to counseling, tell him all about all the things I felt for 15 years that I never told him about. We got separated and we got divorced. A month later, after our divorce, he had a diving accident. He was at a party drinking. He dove off of the second-story deck, the railing of a second-story deck of a house, into a swimming pool. He broke his neck when he hit the water, and he remains a quadriplegic today. I had a lot of anger over it because here his son was 5 years old, and I thought, you'll never throw your son a ball again. You'll never be able to play catch. You can't barely hug. Now he can. He has a little more control over his body, but he still remains in a wheelchair, and he does have a wife, and I have a husband. And we have really worked to make this marriage work, this combined family work, so that we all would get along and my children would not suffer from the anger that normally comes through divorce. I would not allow it. I agreed to more things than I should have agreed to, but I did not want my kids to go into a courtroom, and I was in Maryland and he was Missouri. If we thought about this, that would have happened. So I really worked hard to keep my kids having a wonderful, happy life. I'm a pretty low-key, calm person, if you haven't figured that out. And I don't like confrontation. I learned that from my father. When he would yell, I would walk away. My siblings would yell back to him, and huge fights would ensue. And I would be like, well, you know what? I'm just walking away from all this. So in my marriage, there was no conversation. There was no fights. My first husband and I fought one time in 15 years. That's not good, actually, because there's not communication going on if you never speak up. So anyway, I got on, I remarried, and now I had to think, here my children are now about to gain 3 siblings that will be living in their home. I don't know who these kids are. I don't know how they've been raised. There are other parents. You're the youngest one, and you rebel. See? You are, guys. I was like, I did have a younger brother, 6 years younger than me, but I was like, get me out of here. As soon as he started yelling, I was gone. Well, anyway, my kids now have 3 kids that we didn't really know that were going to live in this home. And I had to figure out how to make my kids comfortable with these new people that were to be their siblings. And I decided the way to do this, the way to make this work, was to start talking to each other. Start talking, start having conversation. Take the kids for a tour of the house. Show them what we were doing, how we were living, what the rules are. There were rules in my house that I expected my stepchildren to follow, just like my children followed. When we cleaned, they cleaned. When we had fun, they had fun. It was all a family unit, and I would love all 5 of them, regardless of who gave birth to who. Now, there was a lot of issues that came up. I dealt with drugs. My oldest stepson, he came to live with us when he was in 8th grade. His mother kicked him out. He was already on drugs. She stopped talking to him for 2 years. He went through a lot of pain and heartache. And we dealt with drugs with him. He tried to attempt suicide. Imagine going upstairs into the bathroom and seeing your son, my stepson, but I considered him my son, laying on the floor with blood under his wrists. I think of it today, guys, and I can't even tell you how horrifying it was to find him like that. And you don't know what to do. And all I felt like was a failure. I have failed this child. Look, he wanted to kill himself. So, you know, there are times even the best of us feel like failures. You know, you're going to go through life as your kids get older, and there will be times you're like, what the heck? How did I let this happen? What did I do wrong? What am I doing wrong? And I decided the only thing I could do was help him. I needed to help him. I did not yell. I did not scream. I needed to find him help. He felt disconnected with all our meetings, all our love, everything. Somehow he did not feel like he belonged, which is a hard thing for a teenager, guys, because if your child doesn't feel like they belong, they will go look for somewhere to belong. and it's probably not going to be good. And that's when drugs enter into it, and alcohol and gangs and people that you don't want them hanging around with, because those people are helping them feel like they belong. So I have notes so I don't go like ADD on you and go off on tangents. I stay focused, so we're not here for 8 hours. So anyway, I decided the key to this all thing was communication, respect, and really giving your kids a voice in the whole thing. You know, we set up our rules, we set up boundaries, we set up limits, things they did not have in their mother's home, because she was kind of like a free-range parent. You could go do whatever you wanted to do. She didn't really care. She was more focused on her. But in my house, this is what it was. I cared about them. I loved them. But I never, ever gave up on them. And I never, ever judged them or criticize them, or if they, they knew that if they needed me, I don't care if it was 3 a.m, I was there for them. I loved all 5 of them unconditionally, regardless of whose womb they came out of. The other thing I discovered as I was going through these marriages, and I had a kids fitness company, was that I adore kids. My passion is children. I love children. I just can't even tell you how much I love children. I can't tell you how much I love being around children. They are awesome. So I saw over 30 years of teaching parents and kids that parenting trends changed a lot. And there are a lot of parents that parented through fear. They were so afraid if something didn't happen, then this would not happen. And they started parenting through fear, and they started, hovering over their kids or getting angry at their kids all the time. I remember one kid in my class was running around, which we do all the time. We're a fitness class for children. And his mother's yelling at him not to run around. What the heck? This is the class. Run around. And I actually said to her at the end, running is good for your child. And this is a safe place for them to run. Like I had a parent tell me, because we'd run across and bang on the walls, and I had a parent tell me that I do not want my child banging on the walls. And this other parent says, if the worst thing my child does in their whole life is bang on the walls, it's okay with me. I mean, they're like, so nitpicky about things. Bang on the walls, so what? You bang on the walls. You try to start a boundary and you say, you know what, honey? You don't bang on the wall here, but you can bang on the wall here. You don't throw a ball in the house, but you can throw a ball outside. You don't stop the behavior. You put boundaries and limits around it. And children adore you and know you're awesome too. Thank you, Nick. You're so sweet. I love your daughter. She was a blast. Anyway, I got to meet his daughter on the phone the other night when he reached out to me. But you don't limit everything because the behavior may not be acceptable in the living room, but it may be perfectly acceptable outside. Throwing a ball, one of the most important things you can teach your child. Who plays catch with their kids? Anybody play catch with their kids? Because you know what? That's one of the best things you can do. Oh, and guys, if you want to say anything, I think you can raise your hand and I can allow you to talk. Yes. Throwing a ball, guys, when a person throws a ball, it teaches them the balance and coordination of their body. It teaches you how to stay balanced. So yes, you do not throw a ball in the house. That, unless it's like a balloon or a beach ball, not the place to throw a ball. But yes, please allow them to throw balls outside. That's called a boundary. That's called a limit. And that limits and boundaries keep your kids safe. So anyway, let me ask you, who started this challenge thinking there is no way I am ever going to stop yelling at my kids? Who started this challenge thinking that? Raise your hand. I put on the ad that you guys saw, not all of you saw it, some joined different ways, but the ones that saw the ad, it said, are you under the belief that your children will only listen if you yell? Yes, yes. So tell me, Chrissy, tell me, Alexis, how do you feel now? Do you feel like you can actually communicate with your children in a calm way without yelling, and they will actually listen? Do you feel that way now? Do you feel like in just the last 6 days, it's possible and you're still learning? Absolutely. I mean, it took a long time to get to the point where all you did was yell. It ain't going to happen overnight. But now, excellent words, Chrissy, it's possible. It's possible to stop yelling at your kid. You know, it was funny because the only negative comments in my ad, you know how a lot of these ads have 8,000 negative comments and they're bad-mouthing the whole world, was clearly this person's never had children. And as you know, I've had 5 of them from a blended family, all young. They started young, now they're all in their 30s. So yes, you can do this, but you have to incorporate certain techniques. You know, I think we all discovered one rule, and tell me if you agree. If you can control the way you react to your kids and you can see life through their eyes, then you will ultimately create family harmony. Do you agree with that statement? Let me know if you agree with that statement. And like I said, guys, if you want to say something, just like, I think you can raise a hand or something to that effect. Remember, guys, if you agree, Alexis, absolutely. That's what you need to do. You need to control the way you react. When we talk about patience and take 3, take a time out for yourself. Think about what you're going to say before you say it. That's exactly why we say when you have family meetings, when you talk about productive ways to share. You know, if you guys are sharing the same truck and you're fighting over, what can we do to solve that problem? Well, maybe you can have the truck for 5 minutes and you can get another toy and I'll put on a timer and you can switch. Or if you talk back to me, what do you think should happen? I think I should have a 5-minute timeout. What does that do? That makes your child think, okay, well, if I talk back to mommy, she's going to give me a 5-minute timeout because I told her she can. It makes them think before they react. It's good to keep in mind that if you're able to control your emotions, think about what you're going to say, and then come say it to your kids in a calm manner. It is absolutely true that they will also come back to you in a calm manner. I do. Maybe I will see things different. I shared with her how much it hurts me when I have to yell. Yeah, be honest. Ask her if she likes to yell. You know, let your kids understand that you are working with this parenting coach because you want your home to be a happier home. You know, I started, wait, I was thinking, look, see, I lost my brain. All right. I lost what I was going to say. Anyway, I'll go back to that. I lost track. Just remember, the guys, if you yell, they yell. Hi, Cheyenne. I'm glad you're watching with me. If you yell, your kids will yell. Yelling only causes more yelling, and nothing gets accomplished through yelling, just a lot more yelling. If you don't listen, they don't listen. If you offer them respect, which is done a lot through those family meetings and approaching your children calmly, they will offer you respect. Respect is earned. It's a two-way street. It's not just a given. Oh, you're my kid, so you need to respect me. Who grew up with a parent that thought like that? No. If you're trashing your kid and screaming and yelling at your kid, excuse me, do you think they're going to have respect for you? They won't. They won't have respect for you. But when you come to them calmly and you come with a reasonable, way of talking and information that's reasonable and a solution that's reasonable. You know, why don't we try doing this, guys? Let's just take a break from what's going on right now, and let's go out and play and run around in the yard. Let's get some fresh air. You know, I know you're struggling with this homework. You're like spacing out. You're getting angry. Time for a break. Stop the homework. Instead of yelling at them, focus, start doing your homework. Instead of that, say, you know what? Sometimes we all just need a break, honey. So why don't you go take a break? Go run outside, have something to drink, have some water, read a book, relax. They might not want to read a book if they're doing their homework, but go take a break. I'll put on a timer, 20 minutes, you can come back and do your homework again. We all need breaks. We all get overwhelmed. We all get anxious. We all get excited. All those feelings that are built in your children are built in you too. And the only difference is you know how to regulate them and they don't. They don't know how to regulate their anger. They have to learn it from you. And if the only way they're learning how to regulate their anger from you is by you yelling back because you're angry, you've taught them nothing. They will go through life learning that the way you relate to anger is by yelling and hitting and whatever else goes on. When you give them a little, your kids will give you a whole lot more. I'm telling you, they just want to please you and make you happy. And when they see you're happy, you're more pleasant, they'll be happy. When you have fun, they have fun. Let me read you a testimonial from one of the people I've worked with. Let me find it because clearly I'm not finding it. Oh, from Candace. Let me tell you, she was in our last challenge. We've worked together. This is what Candace said. I have realized that through Celia's coaching, I am a fighter. I've come a long way from where I started. And I bet you guys will be able to relate with her onto this because she totally thought, hi, Tiffany, no worry, sweetie, no worry. Better late than never, you know? Tiffany totally thought this was not possible. She has 4 kids. They range in age from like 5 to 16. She said, I don't know if because I was truly ready, and some of you have said that to me, but I tell you, I have wanted to change some of my ways for a while now, and I don't know why I never did. These tools that Celia taught me that she is utilizing are simple yet amazing. My boys have said things like, thanks, Mom, that was very encouraging. Or, you sound happy, Mom, it's good to hear. And her all-time favorite when her child said, it's good to hear you laugh like that, Mom. I love you. She says, I have fear and doubt still. I think that will take time to dissolve, but I'm proud of me for making this decision to work with Celia and bring our family together again. And I hope you guys feel that way too. A lot of you have already said that you're so glad you were able to join this challenge. So it's not impossible. Let's go over what we learned in a summary. It's like 6 puzzle pieces that fit together. The first piece of the puzzle was you. We talked about where you came from. You were like the woman version of Mr. Rogers. I need a sweater. Won't you be my neighbor? He's very nice. Mr. Rogers, he's a very nice man. Did you see his what was it? A documentary on him. They just had one. Anyway, the first piece of the puzzle was you. Where you came from, how you felt when your parents treated you the way you might be treating your children. Some of you endured horrors that I am so sorry you had to endure, but you came out of it strong. You're in this challenge. You decided to be better, do better. That is awesome. So the first piece of the puzzle is you and what you can do to change. You know, often parents will say, oh, my kids are so bad. My kids are so bad. But you know what? There aren't bad kids. There are just parents that are misguided and wind up teaching kids habits and patterns that those kids don't need to be learning. You need to be teaching your children better habits, better patterns, better ways to communicate, better ways to deal with their emotions and deal with their struggles through life and deal with their joy and happiness. Number two, second part of the puzzle, we talked about unity. How do we bring this whole family together? How do we get this family on the same page? How do we figure out how we can all work together so that we reach our mission as a family? Did you ever ask yourself why you had kids? This is a great thing to discuss at a family meeting. Figure out your own vision, your own mission statement. My 10-month-old brother is listening. Oh, good. 10-month-old, he's 10 months old? Good. That's a very little brother. But, you know, you'll never know. He'll learn something. Anyway, think about why you decide to have kids. What was your goal in all this? And then start thinking about your values. You want kindness. You want respect. You want manners. Maybe you want everybody to go to church together. Start thinking about it and start writing it down and get everyone on the same page. This is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to be in this family. We're going to help each other when needed. I just got your a message that reminded me of this meeting. I'm so late. I think I missed the first 30 minutes. Can I join in later? Hi, stay on, April. Stay on. You're fine. You know what? I have decided I'm going to replay it. I'm recording it, so I'm going to replay it tomorrow. But stay on. If you're able to stay on with us, stay on. You missed my whole story, my drama. You missed that. The third piece of the puzzle was communication. How do you communicate? Do you smile when you talk? Do you use your manners? When you use your manners, it's hard to yell when you're like, get all that stuff off the floor, please. Sounds terrible, right? Instead, you could say, could you pick the books up off the floor, please? That is so much less aggressive towards your child. Yelling makes your kids fearful. It makes them afraid. And I know, I feel like I've gotten to know all of you. I know you do not want to parent out of fear. You do not want to make your kids afraid of you. And I know a lot of you grew up that way. A lot of you grew up being fearful of your parents. And I know you were not happy about that. And when you have aggressive, screaming parents that are calling names and ordering you around, you live in fear all the time. Okay, so what happened to my other thing? Oh, third piece. Okay. The other thing you learned in communication is, and please guys, don't forget this, carry this with you every day of your life until your children are adults. And that is that until your children are adults, they are not adults. They are children. If you say, why are you acting like a baby to a 5-year-old? It's because they are a baby. That's why they're acting that way. If they're crying and you don't happen to agree with why they're crying, don't say, stop crying or I'll give you a reason to cry, because evidently they already have a reason to cry because they're crying. So whether you agree with their reason or not, it doesn't mean they don't have a reason to cry. Better yet, let them calm down. It's usually that kind of situation, usually because you said no and they're disappointed and the drama begins. We all know how that is. Let them calm down and then talk to them about it. I've noticed that without the yelling, they tend to do as told. But when I yell, they get frustrated. They typically won't do as told. Absolutely, Tiffany. Absolutely, because you're not threatening. You're not scaring them. They want to help you. They want to please you. When you're calm, they're calm. When you yell, they yell. And nothing gets accomplished. So recognize that those kids are not kids. And I'll remind you again, guys, the human brain does not fully develop until you are 25 years old. So if any of you on here are not 25, your brain hasn't fully developed either. 25, guys, that's when it all comes together in the brain. So all that self-regulation, all that knowing how to handle the 9 billion emotions that are in their brain, they don't got it. It's not there. It is not there. So if they're disappointed because you said no and they start crying, that's because they don't know what to do with the fact that they're disappointed. That's when you have to let them calm down and explain it to them. Okay, so we are here to buy a gift for your cousin. We are not here to buy you a toy. So instead, why don't we go home? We'll take a picture of the toy. We'll put it on your wish list. And maybe you can get it for your birthday when it comes, or a holiday. But I'm sorry, but right now we are here to get this, and that's all we're getting. And they will learn to deal with it. Why? Because welcome to life when things don't always go your way. And if you teach kids that no matter what, they get what they want, they cry, they get their way, you are doing them a disservice. They will go through life not knowing what the heck to do when they're disappointed. That's when they'll turn to drinking and drugs and all those other things. They'll go to school in 12th grade and they'll fail on a test and they'll be miserable and they'll feel like failures and they won't know what to do with it because they've always been allowed to be happy. Sometimes you can't be happy. Sometimes you've got to realize that life throws you ups and downs. It's a roller coaster. And your job is to teach them how to deal with that. But your job is also mostly to make your home a pleasant place, a calm place, a loving place, a safe place, and a fun place. Don't forget the fun. I needed you 10 years ago, but so happy that I found you now. I've learned more about parenting these few short days than I have in all my 31 years. Tiffany, I love you, girl. That is such a wonderful thing for me to hear. My job here is done. No, my job here is not done. But, and it's like, Candace said, basically these things are simple, but if you don't know how to apply them and you don't apply them, nothing will get done. And that's why I want to talk to you guys tonight, because I want to make sure that you're set up to keep using these tools. And you know what, Tiffany, if your child is 10 years old, it's never too late. And honestly, they will even react better to a family meeting because they're older. When you have a 2-year-old and you're having a family meeting, you are teaching them about communication, but really, honestly, how much can they contribute? 3, 4-year-old, even them, a little difficult. But when you get into kids in early elementary school, older elementary school, middle school, high school, that's when they start realizing, what the heck, Mom? You actually do care about what I have to say. You actually do value my opinion. I suggested we do something and you put it into action. That's when you empower your kids. That's when you put your strengths and you plant them in your children. And that's when they learn that they have gained the respect of their mom and their dad. And they feel like they're part of this bigger thing other than themselves. Okay, so where were we? Calm. Okay. The fifth piece, did we talk about calm? Calm? Oh, staying calm. That was the fourth piece, staying calm. Recognizing triggers. Giving kids choices so they have all that. We talked about that. And not feeling like they're totally controlled by someone else. Control is huge, guys. And when you give back a little control to your kids, then they feel like, I am a human here. I do exist. I'm not like part of the woodwork. Otherwise, they feel like their whole life is controlled. So super important to give them those little negotiables, those little, what clothes do you want to wear? Those, hey, You want to help me fix dinner? You pick out what we're going to eat tonight. Let's go to the store. Let's pick out some meal. Pick out your favorite foods. When you give your kids back control, then when they don't have control, when there are the non-negotiable items, they are so much more willing to work with you because they have control over other parts of their life. Attitude. We talked about attitude and how you can make your kids appreciate and be grateful for what they have. That helps them be a more pleasant, caring, compassionate person. And the last thing we talked about was fun. Holy cow, guys, you've got to have fun. You've got to have fun. Your kids will be so much happier if you have fun. Laughter really is the best medicine. Tell jokes, sit around the table, crack jokes. If you have a great joke, tell it at the, tell here. I have a great joke. Should I tell the joke? Do you want to hear the joke? I have great jokes. Anyway, laugh with your kids. Laugh a lot. Laughter is the best medicine. It reduces stress. It reduces chaos. And do you know what? Fake laughter is just as beneficial to your brain and your body as real laughter. It stimulates all the hormones, all the little, sensors that get your disposition up and excited. Laughter, even fake laughter. I'm a laughter yoga leader, and the basis of laughter yoga is to fake laugh through all of that, because laughter is also very good exercise, by the way, for your face and your abs. Okay, so that's what pulls all this together. You've actually got like the key to the puzzle. We got the unity, the communication, the calm, the respect, the attitude, the fun, all that creates family harmony and creates an atmosphere where you don't have to yell. Let me give you another testimonial from somebody else. Or did I already give you that testimonial? I don't know. That might have been what's her name's testimonial. I'm like losing my mind here. I'm not, I thought I was very organized. Clearly, I'm not as organized as I thought. So, here's another one. Okay, so this family had, they have 2 kids, a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old that threw 20 gazillion trillion tantrums a day. And this is what they said after working with me. After working with Celia, we have a lot more respect for our children, and we are learning that we don't have to control everything they do. By letting them feel more empowered through the techniques Celia teaches us, their behavior has greatly improved. It is also helping a lot to start understanding what our children are thinking. Our children are listening and cooperating much more due to the tools we are learning. In addition, there are far less tantrums than when we began. When we started our coaching with Celia, our kids were throwing multiple tantrums a day. We now only have an occasional tantrum here or there. We have new hope for our family. That's it, guys, is to instill hope. For you guys to know that it is possible, like whoever said it was possible. I can't remember if that was you, Tiffany, or whoever said it. We have new hope for our family. We feel like everything is manageable and we no longer feel overwhelmed or like failures. I know so many of you have said you feel like failures. We now know things will only get better. There's a lot less stress and tension in our family. We have a better skill set of working with our kids. And in addition, we are getting along much better ourselves between the 2 of them. Because you know what? When you add calm to your house, the parents, whoever's in your house, whatever adults are in it, they feel the calm too, and they really get on board with it all. I know one of you said that your dad totally thought, what did he call my methods? Psycho mumbo jumbo. So he said, I don't go for this psycho mumbo jumbo. And he wound up, she asked him to sit on a family meeting. He sat in on a family meeting. He actually participated, and he said he was really noticing the difference in his daughter and her children. Once the children change, once there's not so much tension and stress in the house, everybody feels better and gets on board. So if you're worried that you have someone in your house who's not on board, when they start seeing the change, I guarantee you they'll be on board because they'll start feeling better too. The tension will relieve itself. Okay, so now let's talk about something else because I lost track. Oh my gosh, see, I try not to have ADD. I try to be very organized, and yet I still have ADD. Okay, so who, oh, I said that. Okay, sorry, I'm like being delirious. Oh my gosh, you guys, I'm like totally lost my thing. Focus, stay with me. Okay, are you staying with me? Because I lost where I am. Okay, well, I'll just keep going with the flow. Okay, so who has a spouse or someone in their house that thinks they won't get on board with this? Does anybody have like a problem with the additional adults? I know a lot of you posted about dads or your mother, or somebody posted about difficulty with sleeping with their parents, not sleeping with their parents, their children sleeping with the grandparent that lived in the house. You're going to your mom, Chrissy, and I don't know if you were the one that spoke about this. You're going to have to talk to them, but I'm telling you, if you are really open with them and they start seeing the change in your kids, they will get on board with it. It is hard as a grandparent to be in a situation where you are also kind of raising children. My 2 grandkids lived with me for 2 years. And in those 2 years, I had to parent them. I could not be the grandparent that gave in to their every whim. And I'm a parenting coach on top of it, so I didn't want that to happen. So I kind of became their mom. Their father, my stepson, lived with us, but I kind of became their mom. Their mom wasn't here. And so I had to actually, create an environment where they would listen to me as an authority figure, as their parent. You still will remain the boss of your kids. Giving back control doesn't stop making you the boss. You're the boss. Some people ask me, who's the boss? You're the boss. I actually, when I was writing my book, which should be out soon, did I tell you about my book? Taming the Toddler, the Ultimate Parenting Manual. It is done. It is at the publisher. It should be out soon. One chapter in that book is, who's the boss, you or your child? My answer, you. And honestly, I wanted to end the chapter there. That was like be the end of the chapter, but I felt like I even say, okay, I'm not going to end the chapter here because I feel like you guys actually bought this book for information. So I went on, but I really wanted to end it there. You, on to the next chapter. But you're still the boss. None of this eliminates you being the boss of your children. You are the adult. You are responsible for them, for keeping them safe. You're still the boss. But you have to be willing to allow them some control, and you have to be willing to allow them to, have fun. You have to let them have fun, release energy. If you're having a lot of tension, a lot of times it's because your kids need to just release some energy. And if you have a parent living in the home, a grandparent, you need to sit down and get on the same page with that parent. I know it can be hard. I know they can fight you, but they're not doing your children any favors giving into their every whim. They are actually going totally against what you're trying to do for your kids. And ultimately, you want the happiness of your children. So I want you to, and a few important things so that you can keep this behavior going on. Let me ask you, do you think when you leave this challenge, you will be able to continue using these techniques? Or are you worried you will fall back into your old patterns? Answer me that. And I'll watch as the comments come up. Because it's only been a week, guys, and it's very easy to fall back into old patterns when you have new information feeding in and you're not used to that. Alexis said she has a fear of falling back into old habits. Absolutely, it's easy to do. And you're worried, but hope not. Good, Cree. Hi, Cree. I don't think I said hi to you yet. Oh, that's Krista. Honestly, I think I'm going to fall back and snap quick. Okay, so we're going to approach that, okay? We're going to talk about that. Number one, guys, you got to stay consistent. I know it's hard to stay consistent, but consistency is key. Think about when you had, somebody asked about potty training, and I'm not going into that because that's not what this challenge is about right now, but think about potty training. When you potty train, you have to stay consistent. You can't let them go in diapers and out of diapers, go about it. You'll never get them potty trained. And you can't give up your hands and say, oh, forget it, this kid will never be potty trained. Because let's face it, how many 20-year-olds do you know that do not go to the bathroom on the potty? The majority of them do, unless there's some issue going on. So yes, your child will learn to potty train, but consistency is key in everything. Mackenzie says, I'm worried, but fingers crossed you don't. I'm going to help you. Hi, Linda. I didn't see Linda jump on. Hi, Linda. How are you? So consistency is key in everything. The family meetings every week, same time. Try to stick to the same time. That's what's going to build that communication. You taking 3 minutes time out if you're strung out and the kids are making you crazy and you're irritable from work and you walk in and the kids are yelling, don't take your day out on them. Go into the room, let them kill each other. You know, as long as there's not blood, you're all good. Sit down, chill out, relax, and then approach them calmly. And when you approach them calmly, you will naturally calm the situation. If you can't get calmed down, put on some distractions. You know, I guarantee you, if you put on some music and dancing, like I've said before, they will come out of their room and come dance with you. Or they'll look at you like they're crazy, you're crazy, but either way, they're going to stop the behavior. Fun, adding the element of fun is huge. That was our 6th day, talking about how you have to add fun into your life. Music helps a lot. Yes, it does. I agree, Tiffany. It helps a lot. You know, cleaning up, put on music. Whatever you do, put on music. Music is just plain fun. Okay, so put on music. So I want to give you some bonus tips. Consistency is one of them. The other thing I've mentioned in comments and I mentioned in some of the trainings, you want to focus on the positive, guys. Stop focusing on the negative. Every person, every day does positive things. Something positive. They brushed their teeth. They got dressed. They went to school. They came home. They played nice with their brother for 5 minutes. If you notice they're playing nice, mention it. Talk about it. Praise them. Say, gosh, guys, you're playing so nice. I'm thrilled. I love it. Can I play with you? You know, play with them. But focus on the positive and compliment the positive. Let them know you've noticed. You notice when they did something good. Don't just make them feel like mom only notices everything bad I do. That's when you grow up thinking there doesn't matter what I do, it's never right. That's what puts that in your head, because no one ever notices when you try to do good. But when you make a big deal out of them trying to do good, they will do more of that behavior because they are pleasing you. And when they please you, which is their ultimate goal, believe it or not, then they will be much happier and you will be much happier, and they will focus on the behavior that you want them to do, not the negative that is always getting your attention. They'll get your attention no matter how they get it, good or bad. If they have to get your attention through doing something annoying and obnoxious and yelling and beating on their brother, they'll do it. So start focusing on the positive and start giving them one-on-one attention without that cell phone in your hand. Get that cell phone out of your hand. My reason for having kids was to break toxic generation barriers. Let me applaud you, my dear. Yay, and we're going to do that together, right? Right. Spend that time with them. Kids act out for two reasons. Two of them. One is control, and the other is attention. That's the two reasons. That's it. They either want control over something, or they're ticked that they never have control, or they want your attention. So give them your attention. I'm telling you guys, 10 or 15 minutes of your attention will mean the world to your kids, and they'll play nicely for another hour. If you have a lot to do, I'm not telling you stop what you're doing and sit there for an hour. No. 10 to 15, play a game together. Come home from work, be excited to see them, and spend some time with them. One game. When my grandkids were over, my Mason, he's how old is he now? 7. We always are playing games. And he sits there and he goes in the game closet and he sets up 4 games, 4 stations of games, and we have to go through each game and play. He loves it. But you don't have to do that. You can play one game. And then you can say, you know what, Mom has to go do some work. I got all this stuff to do. I got to do the laundry. I got work to do for work. I've got to write these reports. In an hour, I'm going to set my timer. I'll come back. We'll play another game. Make it fun. Make it fun. Make the time you spend with your kids fun, not misery. My elders believed that children were to be seen and not heard. I always believed that to be a horrible way for children to grow up. Absolutely. That's where that slogan came from, because people used to believe that all the time. It's a terrible way for a human being to grow up. Don't think of your child as a child. Think of them as a human being. Are they a caged dog? Like, imagine if your whole life you're controlled by someone else and you were never allowed to speak up. That's the beauty of family meetings. They don't just get to speak up. They get to have their opinion valued and actually put into practice if it's something great. And you know what? If you put an idea of theirs into practice and it's not so great, big deal. You tweak it for the next meeting. You say, okay, well, we tried this. That really didn't work out. Laugh about it. What can we do different? Make it fun. Make your kids know that you value them, that they are important. They are not just a piece of furniture. They are not a possession. They are a valuable, contributing part of your family. It will mean the world to them, and it will change your family dynamic totally around. So that's what you have to remember as you move forward. You have to focus on the positive, give them back some control, and spend that one-on-one time with them, and put all these other little techniques I taught you into play. Especially those family meetings, guys. Oh my gosh, the world of difference, I'm telling you. Okay. So I know some of you are going to continue using those techniques. I hope you all do. Let me read you Candace's testimonial. She says, I have realized through I already read you Candace's testimonial. Holy cow, Uncle Al. Let me read you another one. I read that. I thought to myself, I read that, didn't I? Okay. Who am I reading? Oh, I want to read you Heather's. That's who I want to read you. She says, I haven't yelled since our phone conversation. That was our phone conversation on Wednesday. I have had to really think, and it's hard to do when you're in the moment. I know you can all relate to that. Our oldest had a meltdown tonight, and I said, "Why are you crying, honey?" And then told him I understand he's upset, but it was time to come in and eat and get showered and ready for bed, and he could see his friends tomorrow. Instead of yelling to stop crying and screaming like I normally would do, and tell him he's not going to play with his friends for a week, I simply said that. And it felt nice not to get upset, even though he was screaming, crying, and talking rude to me. Then he stopped talking rude, and he slowly calmed down and cooperated. That's what you want. You are the one that has to create the calm. So I have a gift for you guys. And that is, I will spend an hour on the phone with every one of you. We will talk about what's going on. We will set a plan in motion so that you don't fall into your old routines. We'll talk about your hope, what you want your family to look like. And we will figure out the way you will get there. So I invite you to have this call with me. I have opened up this week, except for a few slots where I have clients already that I couldn't rearrange and move. And I invite you to hop on a call with me. Who would like to get on a call with me? Just you and me talking about what's going on, talking about what's bugging you, how we're going to fix it, and how you can keep it moving forward. You can get on a call. You have to go. Alexis, yay. Chrissy, yay. I'm so glad you guys want to, because guys, you don't want to go back to yelling. We all feel miserable when we yell. So this is what you need to do. I'll type it in here. Guys, you're going to go to my calendar. It's the easiest way. Otherwise, we're talking back and forth. When can you meet? 3 o'clock. No, I can't do that. No, I can do it. Just go to my calendar. And all the spots are open for this week that are available. And next week I'm on vacation, so you can't really pick the next week. So pick from this week. I left a lot of spots open. So I'm going to say both. Basically, you're going to the website workwithcelia.com. Workwithcelia.com. That is my calendar, okay? So you're going to pick out a slot, and we're going to talk. And we're going to figure out what's going on in your world with your babies, okay? And go on there. The sooner you get on there, the sooner you'll get the time slot you want. There's only so many hours in a day for me, babes. So, and I have clients in between. So you'll see some breaks in the client, in the day. I have cleared out as much as I can for you guys, okay? If for some reason no date works for you, which I've really expired, like I started at 8 in the morning for you guys, which I normally do not do. And I've gone on to like 8 at night sometimes. Thank you, Nick. You are so awesome. So I normally don't do that, but I just want to be available for you guys, especially since I'm going on vacation next week. And I really don't want to, I have a few clients I have to talk to next week, but overall, I'm not doing stuff. So if you would please, to pick from that. But if for some reason you just can't find a spot, message me and we'll figure something out, okay? So that's what I have for you. I hope you guys have really enjoyed the challenge. I ask you one more time, a lot of you have put incredible recommendations and testimonials already in our group. If you did you post the link? I did. See it, workwithcelia.com. I'm pointing to it, Christy. Workwithcelia.com. I'll post it again. It's in the comments. Do you see it? Do you see it? Do you all see it? Tell me if you see the link. Workwithcelia.com. And it goes to my calendar, because like otherwise it's like calendly.com, Celia Kibler. It's a stupid website. So I like rename it, but it'll go to that calendar. Did you find it? Guys, give me a thumbs up or a yes. I see it, that you see that link. Because, oh, you know why? Oh, you know why? No, because I'm doing it wrong. Hold on a minute. Hold on, let me do it again. I'm so technologically challenged. All these little notes I wrote to you guys, you didn't even see. How is that? I don't know if you believe in karma. I do believe in karma. But if you do, I believe you have lots of endless good juju coming your way. Thanks. I do believe in karma. Okay, you got it now, because you know what? It tells you where I can send the comments. So I sent other comments. So everybody's got it now. Workwithcelia.com, right? Okay, good. I'm a little technologically challenged. It could be because I'm so old. But, you know, I catch on. I'm better than a lot of people my age. So anyway, guys, I have loved working with you guys. Tomorrow, I'm going to shoot. I'm going to shoot. I'm going to replay the replay. I'm going to replay this. So don't forget, other people that see it will be signing on. So get your appointment now and be ahead of the game. It is being recorded, so I'm going to play it again on our page. I'll post it tomorrow for people that missed it. And I don't know what else I wanted to tell you, but I have thoroughly enjoyed having you guys in this challenge. I appreciate all the hard work you've done. I hope you are incredibly proud of yourself, because you guys need to really pat yourselves on the back. You sell yourself short a bit, and I just love you so much. Thanks for the Lee's family. You are so welcome. I'm so glad you're in here, Nick. I just feel like I can't even tell you guys how happy I am that you're all here with me and that you've decided to make this change in your family. You're awesome. You deserve every reward and goodwill and happiness that comes your way with your family, and your children are blessed to have you as parents. Totally blessed, because a lot of parents, look at all the people that were in the group, and look how many of you are here. So pat yourself on the back. You and really, out of all those people who really took it seriously to make a change, you are so welcome. Good, Chrissy. I'll see you on whenever it is. I'll find out when it is. You don't have to tell me. I'll look at my calendar. In the meantime, guys, as always, I wish you peace, love, and tons of laughter. Oh, make sure you friend me on Facebook, because I do go live on my personal page. And please join Pumped Up Parenting, our public group on Facebook. I'd love to have you all in there. I'll see you here tomorrow in our group for final endings and a repost of this. And reach out to me with whatever you need, guys. I love you tons. Have an awesome evening, and hug your kids. Bye, guys.